God save our gracious queen, long live our noble queen. That is all I know.
Well, very beautiful rendition. I'm
like one of those kids who is doing like a project in front of the class and they can't keep a straight face. They just keep cracking up.
I guess that's the British national anthem. Me and Sarah just had the argument that wasn't the English national anthem because they have a different national anthem than Team GB. Or is it the same? You let us know. So how's it going, everyone? We wanted to make this video because Team GB was just announced. And not only was it announced, it's kind of controversial, I will say.
Is it, Greg?
It is. A few selections are kind of turning heads and kind of saying, this is a little strange. I'm going to preface this with saying we're going to miss a lot of, nuance to it. We're just going to give a quick overview. What we know, we don't know the GB squad, the English squad, the Wales, Scotland, because it's Wales, English, Scottish, and maybe Northern Ireland. I'm not even sure about that.
A lot of issues.
Yeah. We don't know a lot about the collective, Sarah and I. So, but we're going to go over. Look for timestamps for kind of the part where there's a few people not selected that I think a lot of people are kind of shaking their heads and saying, what is going on? I'll start this off. We're going to read from an article about who was chosen, and I'll put the names on the screen. But going into this, it's kind of like the Olympics is kind of a weird tournament for soccer. And I will say, because not that many teams not even that many teams qualify for the Olympic Games. Only 12 or 16 teams even qualify for the Olympics. So if to be actually chosen, but you think about the Olympics, it has such a cachet, like the Olympics, that you want to be part of the squad, even if it's not, because I always say World Cup is number one, World Cup, and then Olympics is 2, 3, depending on who. Euros is really important, but Olympics is, that cachet is I'm an Olympian, And
I've been there.
Firstly, going into who was selected, as everyone knows from every country, it is a limited roster. 18 are selected.
Yeah.
And it's hard because, especially in the United States, over in GB, there's so many talents out there. For 18 people to be selected, it's hard. And that's kind of an Olympic thing, too, because I was telling someone DM'd us about it. And I said, yeah, even in gymnastics, I love gymnastics. The gymnastics team for every country is only 4 men or women.
Oh my gosh.
When I was a kid, it was 7. So almost double what it would be now. So, it's a limited. And I think part of that might be just being weird, to be an Olympian is something so high caliber that, maybe they don't want to give you're an Olympian to too many people. I don't know. Because this was all decided even before Corona, so it has nothing to do with Corona or anything like that. This has been decided. Who
is she? I don't know her.
This has been decided a long time. So we're reading the names from the official GB where they announced it, and you can barely read it. And Sarah goes, "Why is it at an angle?" And I read some people saying that they wanted to skew it so you couldn't really read it to see how bad the selections were.
Duh. Goalkeepers: Karen Bardsley, Ellie Roebuck. Midfielders: Sophie Ingle, Kim Little, Jill Scott, Kara Walsh, Caroline Weir. Forwards: Lauren Hemp, Fran Kirby, Nikita Paris, Georgia Stanway, Ellen White. Defenders: Millie Bright, Lucy Bronze, Rachel Daly, Steph Houghton, Debbie Stokes, Leah Williamson. Reserves: Nam Charles, Sandy MacGyver, Ella Toon, Lottie Woobin? Lottie Woobin? Moy? Lottie Woobin Moy. Oh dear.
Kind of a tongue twister.
Yeah.
So that is who they have selected. Team GB has officially selected those names. Before we even discuss what we think about it, I'm going to have Sarah read a little bit from the article because it discusses kind of how the coach got to that decision. And so we're going to read a little bit from this article and then we're going to talk about it.
Choosing Team Great Britain Olympic football squad was the hardest decision, says Riise.
15 England players and head coach's 18 strong squad. No Cuthbert, NOBBS, Mead, Greenwood, or Beth England.
Hege Riise had described narrowing the Team GB squad to 18 players and 4 reserves who will travel to Tokyo as the hardest decision the head coach has made, but is very happy with its strength and depth. 5 2012 Olympians have been included in the 18, the England captain Steph Houghton, midfielder Jill Scott, striker Ellen White, goalkeeper Karen Bardsley, and Scotland's midfielder Kim Little, and Riise, who won with the Norway at Sydney Olympics in 2000, emphasized the importance of having players with experience of who can be almost coaches on the field in training in the meetings. Riise, addressing the absence of Manchester City defender Alex Greenwood and Arsenal midfielder Jordan Nobbs, said they were disappointed. Respectful, but disappointed, and I feel like strength and depth we have is good. She added that playing time was a factor in omitting Chelsea's forward Beth England. Bardsley is included, having played only 45 minutes of international football since 2019 World Cup because of her tournament experience and having upped her playing time by joining Washington State's OL Reign on loan. Riise said, "The mix we have now, the eagerness of the young players that want to do everything, and then the experienced players that can help to advise them to make the best decisions is really good."
So that basically gave a rundown of where Hege Riise was kind of figuring out who she wanted on the team. I think the very first thing that stands out, and I believe it's 12 Man City players on the roster.
Whoa,
yes.
Wait, what?
11 or 12.
Why don't you just get the whole damn team while you're at it?
So a lot of people right then and there are saying, wow, 12 players right away are from Man City. And you might say, well, that actually makes sense because they already have a rhythm. They know how to play with each other. They've played with each other. They have a rhythm. I mean, that kind of makes sense if you think about it.
But that's not how you should be going about it. You should do players
who deserve it the most
individually. Mm-hmm. And yeah.
So I guess the other thing is they picked out of 18 players, they only picked 3 who are not English. And it's team grade GB. So I think a lot of people are saying, well, I actually think based on what I'm reading from what people are saying, because that's where I'm getting most of my information, kind of what I've read around, the net, that most people...
The net?
Even though there is a lot of English players, a lot of the English players deserve it. And if that specific English player didn't deserve it, another English player deserved it. So that's kind of the first thought. Actually, I would say the first thought is what we're going to talk about next, which is the 2 big omissions I think most people are saying are, number one is Jordan Nobbs. I think most people are sad, gutted for her. They're saying she deserves it. Mm-hmm. The other player is Alex Greenwood that they're saying. Yeah. So what I've been reading was people think Jordan Nobbs over Jill Scott and then Alex Greenwood over Demi Stokes. Those are the 2 people in the comment sections on message boards that I keep saying it should have been Jordan. It should have been Alex Greenwood.
Alex even posted an Instagram. Oh, this is on her Twitter. And she posted a Twitter based on not being selected. And I'll read what she said. She goes, "Completely devastated to miss out on Olympic selection. After what I feel has been one of my strongest seasons, I gave it everything I could, but sometimes that is football. It's such an amazing opportunity for the girls, and I'll be fully supporting them back home. I wish them all the best for the summer." So, she's being honest. She's really, of course, disappointed, upset, but it sounds like she's still supporting Team GB. And I think that was strong of her to even put out a statement like that because, during that time when you're that upset, it's hard to even process, disappointment like that. So, I think a lot of people think that should have been a spot for her on the team.
What Hege Riise is also saying is that she's going with experience over everything. It sounds like that's what she is saying based on that article. She's going over experience almost over everything.
But is that the way to go about it?
I don't know.
I mean, I'm trying to think as a coach. Like, yes, you want experience. Mm-hmm. You want the Carly Lloyds. What? How to do it? But also, it's like the fresh, younger players, like, they really bring something to the team if they're really good.
Right. Not necessarily, people who are 30 plus on the team, you want somebody with, fresher legs more. Also, Karen Bardsley, a lot of people are questioning that as well. That there might be other players, other goalies more deserving in that. But what Hege Riise said, she's been there, she's done that. So she's going with people with experience. So I think it's kind of hard. Then again, you have a Leah Williamson who is 23, so people
23 or 24?
23, 24. So those younger players who really are making impact, who are a bit younger, are still there, but, seems like she was going with older players. The other thing, other than Jordan and Alex Greenwood, a favorite, like, for us would be, like, Beth Mead. I think a lot of people who... we're talking about the roster. Basically, we're saying, Beth Mead's great, but they understood her not being included. She's one of Sarah and I's favorites, but they understood her not being included. So that's kind of hard, especially like when it's a crew of 18, you only can have so many.
18 to be exact.
I know, I keep saying it. Because, and also, did you notice the reserves? The reserves are, they're younger players. They're younger, more up and coming. You would think, well, if Jordan Nobbs was close to making the team, or Alex Greenwood would be close to making the team, wouldn't she be a reserve? That's kind of what I'm thinking. But what I've been reading is a lot of times either of those players don't necessarily want to accept that role. They're either on or not, which I completely understand. Or the coach just says, I want to reserve those players for like the younger players who are willing to do anything and everything. You know, it doesn't matter what, anything and everything. Because as we know, people can get hurt and they can't play. So if you're a reserve player and someone happens to get hurt, you could be right there on the field. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So those were kind of the notables. I mean, obviously we didn't see Beth England on there, and she's been kind of a fixture on the international stage. You know, but I think the big shocker, I think, is Jordan Nobbs. For, you know, because she's a fan favorite, and also she had the ACL injury for the World Cup. We remember watching a little bit of that documentary. She had really bad luck, not included in the World Cup. She was injured, not going to be included in the Olympics. Because we also think, you know, Olympics, I talk about the cachet of the Olympics, how people view the Olympics as being, you know, you're an Olympian, means anywhere you go in the world, you say you're an Olympian, that means a lot.
I'm going to start using that. I'm gonna start saying,
get tattoos of the rings.
Yeah, I'm just going to get the tattoo and be like, yo, I'm an Olympian, so give me some free coffee or something.
Leave.
I could use that somewhere.
But as we remember, the Euros are in England next year, 2022. So I don't want to say that people are kind of looking forward to the Euros, like Beth Mead, Jordan Nobbs, Alex Greenwood. Are they just looking forward to the Euros now? They're just saying, well, of course they are, but is it kind of like the Olympics? Yes, that would be great, but we, you know, the Euros are really what we're focused on. And have they always been focused on it, you know, knowing that the Olympics are kind of like a secondary competition, you know, their ideas like, I need to make that Euro squad. No, that's like their number one goal, almost like in a redemption kind of thing. They also say that part of the reason Jordan maybe wasn't selected was because of playing time. She didn't have the playing time that Hege Riise wanted to see, you know.
But it's like, if you're a coach, like, and you know somebody's good, I mean, I don't know, I'm not a coach, so yeah, I'm not sure what, I mean, every coach is different, I guess. You know, they all have their different ways of selecting people, right. I'm guessing. So it's like, you know, I don't know.
I mean, and when we see
what's fair, what works, who knows?
Then we see people on the squad like the Lucy Bronzes and the Fran Kirbys. I mean, you know, Lucy Bronze, Fran Kirby, there wasn't a doubt. I don't think there was ever a doubt those two were going to be selected. Even Leah Williamson, I don't really think there, even though it sounded like she was thought that maybe she wouldn't make the cut, but I don't think there was ever a doubt there. Kira Walsh, you know, I don't think there was a thought there. That she said some people are a little bit surprised with Rachel Daly, to be honest. They're a little bit surprised that she made the cut.
She was on there. Did I read her name? Wow, I blanked that.
So that's kind of, you know, she plays in WSL. We see her. We watched the Dash game tonight. She scored. And it's funny because for the international, she plays defender, but on the Dash, she's a forward. So. Oh, that was the other thing I was reading, that a lot of the players that they selected, when it's only a squad of 18, you need to be as versatile as possible. Like, because the squad is limited.
You got to be able to go, everybody's got to be able to play the goalie.
Yeah. No. So you have to be as versatile as possible. So did Hege say, well, we're picking the most versatile players overall? You know, because.
I mean, that's a good way to look at it, yeah.
Because there is only 18.
You don't know when someone's going to have to be a ref. It doesn't work that way?
Oh, hey, okay. You never know. But, I mean, I'm sure we have missed a lot of the nuance because, you know, we don't follow the Team GB or English team too closely. But reading in the comments, I'm going to read through the comments because a lot of people were not happy. It says, Beth Mead, Jordan Nobbs, and Alex Greenwood deserved better. Nobbs deserved to be on the team. A real shock that she wasn't selected. Someone goes, this is worse than I thought it was going to be. This is worse than I thought. Greenwood should be on here. Jordan and Greenwood deserve to be on the squad. Where's Jordan and Beth? Take Nobbs and Cuthbert over Jill and Weir any day. Okay. Take Nobbs and Cuthbert over Jill and Weir any day. Okay. Absolutely hate it. Nobbs must have been there.
Yeah, the people have things to say.
And I mean, Hege Riise has never heard of Jordan Nobbs, I guess. So I would say the overall thought of this is people aren't happy. And like I said, is it because Jordan Nobbs is a fan favorite. It might be a little bit, a little percentage of that, but she's a proven, she has that it factor, Jordan Nobbs.
I mean, she's the Tobin of...
I think so. Yeah, we kind of call her Tobin. Just everyone. It's just she has that it factor. One of a kind. I always think one of a kind when I think Tobin. I think one of a kind when I think
Jobin.
I think one of a kind when I think Jordan Nobbs as well. But overall, I think people are happy. But like I said in the last video, sports overall is heartbreaking. Overall, I stopped watching sports completely for a while because I was a big fan of the Giants. They kept losing, and I said no more sports.
Are you crying right now?
No. And a lot of times it's not fair. And that's the way it is. Coaches have favorites. Sports isn't fair, and the fans have opinions. And I don't want those fans to, I want those fans to say, I have an opinion. And I said in the last video, just because it's a woman athlete, I don't want them to be less, less opinionated. Exactly, because it's women's sports. Because we know in men's sports, the opinions are...
I'm sorry, men's what?
Men's sports.
Never heard of it.
They're very free to express. They express their opinions very free in men's sports. So, that's about the video. What did you guys think? Heartbreaking. Like I said, to be a part of the Olympics, qualifying for the Olympics to begin with is major. Not that many teams qualify. And not very many people can even, but then a lot of people say, should football even be an Olympic sport? I keep seeing that, because tennis is an Olympic sport. Is that weird? Kind of weird. Baseball used to be an Olympic sport. Who plays baseball other than Americans play baseball? It's just not a popular sport overall, baseball. But it got dropped from the Olympics, thankfully, because I love baseball, but.
Probably because they were winded by the first base. I'm just kidding.
They actually used to get college kids to play the baseball because they were not professional. So that's pretty funny.
What?
So I'm making fun of baseball players again.
No, I'm not.
And even golf is an Olympic sport, I believe.
Whoa, I like weird? Golf.
Because when I think of the Olympics, I think of gymnastics. I think of swimming. I think of diving. I think of track and field.
Hurdling.
Yeah, I think of track and field.
Turtling.
But I love anytime there's a tournament for soccer for women, there should just be more tournaments maybe overall, because they play so many friendlies that they should have more tournaments international. What do you guys think? Questions, comments down below. Are you guys surprised? Are you upset? Is there anyone other than the players that we've talked about that you really wanted to see there? Anyone on the list that people think should be there and you don't? What do you guys think? We'll talk to you guys later. Have a good night.
And stay British.
Have a good night. Bye.